Hey you, it's me. And I have watched the 90 Day Fiancé stuff for a long time. And Ed in particular was always very interesting to me. Why? Because I dated somebody almost identical to Ed, minus the money. Um, and I really like this last episode of The Tell All because he gave Liz what she needed, even though he didn't realize it. And I'm so happy for Liz for this. I'll explain. Liz, when she first saw him, she was conflicted because she did love Ed for 3 years, or they dated for 3 years. And although she has a great man at home, as she said, Jason, she still had these weird lingering feelings for Ed. And I am making the assumption that Ed is a person with narcissistic tendencies. I will not say he's a narcissist, but he does have a lot of the tendencies. And what they do is they will do horrible things, like what he did, which was break up with Liz without even telling her, stopping the wedding from happening weeks before it was supposed to happen, and then telling her like 3 days later. I mean, that's a horrible thing to do to somebody, especially somebody that you supposedly love. Harsh. But what somebody who has these narcissistic tendencies do is they'll take a break, and they need to have their ego fed on a regular basis. So they'll date a few women here and there, but if they don't find someone that really feeds them well, they'll try to go back to the previous. And this is, 6 months after their breakup. He tries to be the perfect man, the man that he knows Liz wants and needs. He says things and does things, looks so much like he's changing for the better, that he's learned, that he's grown. This is what they do. And if Liz had taken the bait, thank God she didn't. If Liz had taken the bait, he would have been the perfect man for about a week or two. And then he would just fall back into his jerky ways and treat her like garbage. Because that's what people who have these kind of tendencies do. And I am so... it sounds silly to say I'm proud of Liz. I don't know her. She doesn't know me. But I am really proud of her because she took it for what it was. She realized she's not in love with him anymore. She doesn't want to be with him anymore. She appreciates him trying and working hard, but she's not going to fall into that gap again of, oh, okay, well, let's try for the 15th time. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. And I'm hoping that it's not just her, but she had a good influence with Jason. I hope Jason's a good guy. He seemed like a good guy. But for her, it was a very mature thing for her to do. And a lot of people say both of them are very immature. They act immature. And to some degree, maybe, yeah, we all do. But to me, it was very mature of her to say, I see you, Ed. You're changing, you're growing, good for you. But I've moved on. And this is a nice way of saying goodbye, where we can part on friendly terms instead of yelling at each other. And that is a good way to close that chapter out. It really is. The problem is that isn't what Ed wanted. He puts on the tears and, oh, he's hurting. It's so sad. He had to say goodbye to his love, blah, blah, blah. None of it's real. It looks real. It absolutely looks real. But I've seen it before. And it's not. If any woman had shown interest in Ed at any point, at any time during their stay there, he would have immediately gone with them. Immediately. Wouldn't have thought twice about dismissing Liz again and going off with another woman. Because that's who he is. All of this, I'm changing, I'm growing, is all bull pucky. They don't learn. They learn sometimes how to manipulate better by knowing. What they do is they get to know you intimately, the ins and outs of you, so they know how to manipulate you. And he said that he knows what Liz wants. Yes, he does. And he can turn that on and off like a switch. That's what they do. They get to know you. They love bomb you in the beginning so that you trust them, so that you tell them all the personal, intimate things about you, so that they can then use it against you to manipulate you into doing what they want you to do. It's a horrendous thing. It really is. I know that my narcissist acting person, everything was about show. He wanted me to go places with him, do things with him, so he could show me off. It wasn't to have the experience and enjoy things together, because it had nothing to do with us as a couple. It only had to do with him showing that he had a woman in his life. And to some degree, I get that, oh, look I got this, hot guy with me, and, he's mine, and we're dating, or whatever. I get that to some degree. But that was the only level that he had. It was only about being seen. It's a very Hollywood kind of a thing, honestly, which I guess is fitting for Los Angeles. But I hated that. I really did. If I'm dating somebody, I don't mind being seen. I enjoy that. I'm happy if someone sees me happily with somebody. That's great. But to do it on purpose for everyone to see is kind of ridiculous. It's, I'm the trophy that he's showing off. That's dumb. I don't respect that. I mean, look at someone like Corey Feldman. That's what he was doing with his quote-unquote angels. He toted them around like trophies, look at me, whatever you think of me, I got these hot bitches. I don't respect somebody like that. I find that disgusting and despicable, to be quite honest. And Ed is definitely in that category of, I want to show off. You can tell. Right after he and Liz broke it off, he was seen with some young woman that he apparently paid for, so that they could take pictures together and look cute together, so that he could hurt Liz. That's how they think. So don't be fooled by what he's saying. Don't be fooled by the tears that he's shedding. It's all just show. He's a very surface level person. He can say the right things because he knows how to manipulate. But when has he ever done anything to change? I mean, the years that we've seen him on this show, when has he ever changed? He'll talk a good game. He'll say all the things people want to hear. And then he just goes on about his business being the same Ed that he always was. And I just wanted to make mention of that because I've experienced a person like this. They're horrendous. They, especially for somebody like Liz and myself. Well, I'll speak for myself. I am a person who has had a lot of abuses in the past. And so I want to believe people when they say they're going to change. I really want to believe it. And I'll give them a second chance. I'll give them a third chance. I don't usually go beyond that. But I want to believe so badly, desperately, I guess, in some way, that they're a good person and that I have a good person in my life. But time and time again, you'll find that they're not good. Like I said, they play a good game. They'll manipulate you, let you think everything was your fault. That's always a good one. And but they're going to change and grow and help you. And oh God, it's a terrible cycle to be in. But I am so glad that Liz got out of it. I got out of it at about 3 years as well. And I was so relieved. I can't tell you. The way that I felt about myself, my self-esteem was rock bottom when I was with him. My self-esteem shot up considerably after not being around him anymore. And I think that happened with Liz as well. I see a reflection there a little bit. But I'm really glad that she didn't fall for Ed's baloney or his baloney tears or his baloney words. I'm just glad that she's gone off. And rumors that she got married to Jason, I hope so, and I hope it's great. I hope it's a great marriage. I don't know. I want Liz. Liz is not the perfect person, and I understand that. Nobody is. But I still, watching her on TV or, on my computer, I still want better for her, certainly better than Ed. And I hope she's doing great. She seemed to be doing really well. She seemed to be happy, and I hope all the happiness for her. For Ed, it's for people like Ed who have those narcissistic tendencies, who do the things that they do, who are very surface level. It's very hard to wish them well because they're such horrible people. They treat people so badly. They treat people like things to own instead of people to cherish. But I also know that it may not necessarily be his fault. Somebody who is an actual narcissist can't change. They just can't, which is why so many of them die alone and lonely. And I want to hope that Ed can find a new love in his life, but to think how abusive he will be to that love, I don't want to wish that on anybody, if you know what I mean. Maybe wish him another narcissist where they can love and hate each other on surface level for the rest of their lives. Maybe that's a good way. Because I don't hate Ed. I don't like the way he treats people. I don't like him as a person. But I do understand that he quite possibly has a disorder that he can't control. So I hope for him that he finds some kind of peace and happiness within himself, which probably will never happen, but I can hope. And maybe find someone just like him so they can bounce off each other and keep two people in the world from hurting others. They could hurt each other and love each other. I don't know. I don't know. What do you say with something like that? With someone who is a true narcissist, they're always going to be that way. They can lie and manipulate and pretend. They're very good at pretending. But they're never really going to change because they can't. And it is kind of a sad thing. So, anyway, I just want to throw my two cents in there. I'm so glad Liz has moved on. I hope that Ed can find something of happiness. And that's all I got to say.